So what happens when something as serious as clinical therapy gets, packaged and sold like a craft project? That's what we're digging into today. We're going to deconstruct this therapy toolkit we found in a place you would literally never expect. And what it tells us about this kind of strange new world of digital wellness is fascinating. So, yeah, let's just ask the question. As weird as it sounds, what does therapy even look like on Etsy? I mean, for most of us, Etsy means something completely different.
Right? When you think of Etsy, this is probably what comes to mind. That custom-made necklace you've been eyeing, maybe that perfect vintage chair. It's a whole marketplace built on creativity and these unique, physical things. It's a space for artists, for collectors, for people making cool stuff.
But then you're scrolling through the handmade jewelry and the vintage posters, and you find this, a DBT mega bundle. And for anyone who doesn't know, DBT, Dialectical Behavior Therapy, that's a serious, evidence-based clinical treatment, and it's for sale, just right there. This is the exact product we're going to break down.
Okay, so let's treat this listing like a digital artifact, almost like we're on an archaeological dig. By deconstructing this one super surprising item, we can start to see how the lines are just completely blurring between professional help and, well, online shopping.
And this is where it gets really, really weird. We found this clinical therapy toolkit listed under Etsy's, wait for it, paper and party supplies category. No joke, party supplies. It's just sitting there, right next to birthday banners and wedding invitations. It's wild.
All right, so what exactly is in this mega bundle? Let's look at what the seller says you're actually getting when you click Add to Cart.
So the listing itself calls DBT a highly effective, evidence-based treatment. And it's not wrong. It correctly points out that it was originally developed for borderline personality disorder, but now it's used for all sorts of emotional regulation issues. We're talking about really complex skills here. Things like distress tolerance and mindfulness, stuff that's been developed over years and years of clinical research.
And look, this isn't just a handful of worksheets. The listing is boasting over 1,000 items. It's being marketed as the ultimate self-improvement toolkit. And you can totally see the appeal, right? If you're feeling overwhelmed, this idea of a giant all-in-one solution, it must feel like a lifeline.
And who's it for? Well, according to the listing, pretty much everyone. It's pitched to individuals who are just on their own self-help journey, but it's also being sold to actual practicing therapists and coaches. It's casting the absolute widest net possible, trying to be this one-size-fits-all magic bullet for mental wellness.
But the product description is only part of the puzzle. To really get what's going on here, we have to look at the anatomy of the listing itself. The pricing, the seller's data, all that digital fine print.
First up, the price. Check this out. It's listed with an original price of over $40, but it's on sale for about $10. That's a whopping 75% discount. This is classic e-commerce 101, right? It's all about creating that sense of urgency, making you feel like you're getting an unbelievable deal you just can't pass up. Now, if we dig into the seller's profiles, things get pretty interesting. The shop itself, called Therapeutic Treasure, it's been on Etsy for about 7 months, it's got almost 400 sales and a decent rating. So far, so good. But, and this is a huge but, this specific highly clinical DBT bundle has 0 reviews. None. The shop has a history, but this super high-stakes product, it's a total unknown.
And this slide just lays out the central contradiction perfectly. On one hand, the Etsy algorithm literally thinks it's party decor. On the other, the seller is marketing it as a life-changing ultimate toolkit. And look, this isn't just a funny little detail. It shows this fundamental clash that happens when a serious clinical tool gets shoehorned into a platform that was built for, commercial crafts.
So what's the big picture here? What does all this add up to? Well, this one listing isn't just some random oddity. It's actually a perfect snapshot of a much bigger trend, what we're calling the Etsyfication of therapy. It's exactly what happens when these clinical tools get packaged up and sold, just like any other digital download.
And this whole trend is a real double-edged sword. I mean, on one side, accessibility goes through the roof. Tools that you could once only get through a trained clinician are now just a $10 download away. That's huge. But on the other side, the lines of authority and expertise get incredibly blurry. Like, who actually created these 1,000+ documents? Are they qualified? And maybe more importantly, what's the risk if someone takes these really powerful tools and uses them the wrong way, without any guidance?
And that really is the fundamental shift, isn't it? The moment therapy tools become products, the person looking for help becomes a consumer. The whole dynamic just changes.
So here we are, standing in this weird new digital self-help aisle.
And the goal here isn't to just dismiss all these tools out of hand. It's about becoming smarter consumers, about empowering ourselves to ask the right questions as we browse.
Which leaves us with this one really critical question. In this new digital wellness marketplace, where therapy is sold right next to party supplies, who's the real expert? Is it the anonymous seller behind the screen? Or does the burden now fall on the shopper, who has to suddenly become a clinician and a consumer all at the same time? It's a question that completely redefines what taking charge of your mental health even means in this